And the Lord said, "Let there be light." Now, the light I'm referencing in this instance is the light of correction. Many men from the not-so-dark ages have been enamored and fixated with the idea of being on the right side of the scales of morality, ever mindful of being found wanting. From the moment Christianity floated across the Mediterranean west and north, putting the likes of Thor, Odin, and Freya on the run, man has positioned himself in the scornful seat of judge of his contemporaries and his neighbors. A bit further back, the Romans looked down their imperial noses at a pesky little sect from the Isle of Britannia called the Druids for their not-so-friendly practice of sacrificing people. Yes, the Romans that crucified, set Christians on fire, fed them to lions, and had gladiators fighting to the death in the Colosseum. Those same Romans. Morality and its constraints are an evolving construct for men. But let's fast forward to a time where monks with names like Cadfael and Brother Maynard sing hymns for salvation of their Duke and Duchess. Henry II has a problem. He's carefully constructed through marriage and violence this beautiful sprawling dominion that spans from Scotland all the way to the Pyrenees. An absolute masterwork of medieval empire building. There are circuit courts, judges, knights, low-born clerks to keep the finely tuned machine pouring taxes and fines into the coffers of the treasury. But 1 in 5 Englishmen is a cleric, effectively placing them outside of the jurisdiction of the crown. So in terms of dispensing justice, any crime that they commit, any crime, yes, the ones you're thinking, can only be tried in a church court, punishable by, at most, a fine that goes back to the church. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. That's a lot of control and coin not in the hands of the crown. Thus, setting up another monumental round in the epic struggle between the two most influential institutions in Western Europe, church and state. But the Plantagenets play for keeps. So, in 1161, when the Archbishop of Canterbury dies, Henry senses his chance to outmaneuver the church, the most powerful institution in the realm besides the crown. He strong-arms the monks to elect his mandem that he raised from the ground up from a low-born clerk to the chancellor, Thomas Becket, as the next archbishop. Checkmate. Game, set, match. Wrong. Why? Because heavy is the head that wears a crown. Thomas Becket, this low-born clerk raised to his station in life by Henry II, apparently finds God. He resigns as the chancellor and immediately starts to defy the king at every turn. And this goes on for years. Poor Henry. The beef is real, and it's personal. This was his best friend. The audacity, the effrontery. Events find their tipping point in 1170, when the king decides to have a coronation for the young King Henry, an event we covered in a previous episode without the Archbishop of Canterbury. What could go wrong? A lot, because the Archbishop is not amused and promptly excommunicates all of the clerics involved in the coronation. The king is displeased. In his frustration, his righteous indignation, he utters words he will live to regret. What miserable traitors have I promoted, who let their lord be treated with such contempt by a low-born clerk? 4 knights take Henry's fiery words out of context and track down the archbishop. They find him, unarmed, in a church and attempt to drag him out. He resists and for his efforts is assassinated right where he stands, in view of multiple onlookers. The coup de grace being a sword chopping off a piece of his skull like a cantaloupe, one of the knights scooping his brains like jello off the ground. No bueno, Henry. No bueno. It will take quite a lot for the king to overcome this misstep. Some may argue he never really does, but that's a story for another episode. We'll continue to post frequently. See you at the top of the mountain. Like and subscribe for more.